Okay.
Hello guys and welcome to round 9 of the GT series on ACC from the Simpit. And as you can see on track, instead of being in the chat today, we have a Mr. Terry Crouch driving with us for the first time. A little bit of a crash course within literally 30 minutes, building the setup for him, getting me in the car, and he's picked my baby. He's picked the Mercedes, so we'll see how he does today. Also on track we have Alesh Malm, Chris Generelli, Jaroslav Galkov, obviously Terry Crouch himself, Mr. Ken Estep, Stephen McAfee, Callum McLeod, and Heiko Schumann is the ones who are in at the moment. Obviously we might have a few more popping in, hopefully we do. But today we are at the wonderful circuit of Imola. Very hard track to get right, but when you get it right here, it is very, very rewarding. So, from free practice, everyone's lap times, including Terry's actually, considering he's literally basically just stepped back into ACC and learning the physics and everything like that. Again, he should be showing us. So Natalie comes in straight away with a 1:44.597 for her first last lap in free practice. Again, you guys only get 15 minutes free practice. And then we're going straight to our 20-minute qualifying and then into our 1 hour race, where all drivers have to take a mandatory pit stop for tyres. Also, in today with me is, as always, is the wonderful Josh.
Hello, how are we doing here at Imola, people?
It's going to be a very fun one today. Also, they have officially released now all the tracks for GT World Challenge America. Unfortunately, we are missing a hell of a lot of tracks, which unfortunately bugged me because I was working hard on a season for the guys in the States. But it will equal up, so now we will have 4 US tracks in total. So those tracks are going to be Indy. Yes, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is coming. You also have Circuit of the Americas coming and Watkins Glen. So those are your 3 official and final tracks for the new DLC that comes out this Thursday. So we will be doing events, like I said, for the American guys on Friday nights. Obviously Saturday morning for myself. And we have set it up to be... has to be, we're going to keep it as 8 rounds, because obviously I was planning for the whole GT World Challenge Series 2 to be coming from the American Series. But unfortunately we're not getting that, but I have worked out a full 8 race calendar for you, and I'll go into that now. I'm just waiting for Sim Racing GP to update what will be done on the Thursday, sorry, so we can update the tracks. But I have gave myself a preliminary review for you guys. So round 1 will be on the 29th of July, and it'll be at Indianapolis. The week after that would be Laguna Seca, then Kota, Watkins Glen, going back to Laguna, Kota, Watkins Glen, and then finishing at Indy. So your start and finish will be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And to spice it up, we're not going to add rain. Not for the start, because obviously I know for a lot of our US guys it's going to be the first time on ACC. So we're going to do a mixture of daytime and nighttime races for those events. So keep an eye out for that. That will be getting released on Friday. I'll put this up as soon as we get the information and all the updates done for Sim Racing GP. I'll get out the information to you guys and give us a full rundown of what's going on for that season. As we jump on board with Mr. Ken Estep, who's going the old way through Tamburello. Definitely don't want to go that way through Tamburello, as we know unfortunately what did happen here on the now exit of Tamburello chicane. Also, we lost like Mr. Ayrton Senna here. Mr. Heiko Show's going up to the Villeneuve chicane. Well, obviously Ronan Ratzenberg died the day before.
Oh, not just Ayrton Senna, but we also lost another driver there too.
Yeah,
The
Mr.
day
Ronan
prior.
Ronan Ratzenberg. Not many people remember that he died on the same weekend.
They should have just cancelled the race.
It was screamed and shouted at them left, right, and centre, but what they meant to do, especially back then, is so now is money, 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 money. We don't care. It's a little bit less now because obviously they've got a bit better with stuff, but it's still a bit bad. So we've got Mr. Heiko Sherman coming down. Just coming around now into the final last two corners. So he's just come out of that's a 2 coming down now the front straight. So Heiko Sherman goes fastest for 1:43.5, so that's a nice lap time from him. Again, don't forget guys, Terry Crouch's first race in ACC. So we'll see how he's doing up. So Heiko's just gone through Tamburello now, coming into Villeneuve. As Christian already goes fastest now with a 1:43.0. Now into Tosa. Next corner for Heiko would be Paratella. Then Acqua Minerale. Varianta Elta would be the second chicane, then Ravazza 1 and 2. And that will complete his lap here. Coming through Paratella. Now the very awkward Acqua Minerale. Braking here can really set you off balance and get the back end loose. So going to Varianta Alta. Not taking as much curve as I expected Heiko to take through there then. You can definitely gain some time by cutting there. But maybe Heiko's setup's just not liking him going through there. So at the moment, automated system is deciding, no, we're not going on anyone else. As you say that, it picks up Alesh. As per usual, Alesh going, I don't get camera time. Well, there you go. As I even saying about it, it automatically selects you, Alesh. And it goes straight back to Heiko. So our current championship standings, I'll bring them just up quickly and I'll go over them for you. Just need to bring up the standings page. So at the moment in first place, back after last round, Heiko Sherman is in first place with 163 points. Chris Generelli is in second with 160 points, so very, very close at the top here. Then in third place is Alesh Mum with 78 points. Also on 78 points is Natalie Lee. She's doing very well today in the practice, so we'll see how they get on. In fifth place is Mr. James Dowling. Sixth place, James Dowling with 49 points. Team Sploosh, Mr. Callum McLeod. He's in sixth on 38 points. Then we have Stephen McAfee in seventh with 29. Phantom Racing, Mr. Andrew Jaski, he is on 27 points in 8th. 9th is Amir Assad on 26. Kanestep is in 10th on 24. Jaroslav Galkov, he's in 11th on 18 points. Carl just Carl, as we always call him. He's in 12th on 17 points, the same as Mr. George Boothby, Devon Booth, sorry, not George Boothby. As I say, if we had George Boothby here, it'd be very scary on lap times for these guys. 14th is Mr. John Crane on 16. Then Mr. Sean Cole, who's only made unfortunately a few races with us, he's on 15th on 8 points. So is Mr. Jeff Wills, he's on 8 points as well. Mr. Roger Clark, he is in 17th on 6 points, and Mr. Alex Lafros, Netherlands driver, he's in 18th on 3 points with only 1 points finish, obviously, because obviously Like I said, he can only make any of the other round and joined us very, very late into the season. So the drivers are just finishing free practice up now. So as we go into free practice, I'll change us over to the track intro. So there's the overview of Imola. Just behind the stadium grounds is where the wonderful corner of Tamburello is. Obviously, used to be one hell of a fast-paced left-hander there, but now, due to the unfortunate happenings, it's now a chicane. Maybe looking at the chicane of Villeneuve, can be very cut there. We've got Tosa, again a very good braking point. Paratella here, the red line that you're seeing on the edge of the rumble strip there, that is actually the edge of track limits. You can be 2 tires on that red line. As long as you don't extend past it, you will be fine and all good to go. The guys are now just going out on to qualifying. Track temp is 20, air temp is 20. We expect this to drop down the time we start today's race. It will be in an hour's time in game, so should be dropping down into the evening. It will be a very nice sunset drop that we'll see happen in today's race. So we'll head back over to the track as the guys are now out on track. Miss Natalie Lee is who we pick up first. She's headed out towards Paratella. I'm going to swap this information up for you now, guys. So no longer we're going to see the car numbers, we are going to see their qualifying best deltas. Actually, let's change that. Personal best laps and their qualifying deltas. So the big grey box that's blacked out with no numbers in it, that will give you their lap times, and you'll then see who's up or down by the little box next to it. That will be red if they're down, green if they're up. If they're dead even, it will be a light grey colour. Today is going to be a very interesting one, especially with obviously Mr. Terry Crouch, who through his little bit, just literally little bit of free practice that we were doing earlier, whilst I was like just helping him out with a few bits. I say he's like a mid to high pack here, if not right at the back of these extremely fast top runners that we have with us today. So as Miss Natalie Lee goes onto her first line lap. As you can see, the lap times are going to come in at the moment are going to be not representative. They're from like when they've been in the pit lane, so that's before the end of free practice and the start of free practice and the out lap. So everyone's first lap is now live, so this will be the first lot of results coming in. As you'll see, the fastest lap times then will also ping at the top of your screens. So look from Chris Generelli's car, coming around Tosa, firing it up the hill now, up towards Paratella. So look at Jaroslav Galkov, our Russian driver. He comes into Tamburello for the first time. Doesn't take all that first turn. As you can see, he just touches the rumble strips and it just forces him off track. That's the only thing that I find with the McLaren. The front end on this car is so low, it cannot take any type of curbing at all. Really finds it difficult to take a curb. So our first person to cross the line will be Miss Natalie Lee. She's coming through Ravats 2 onto the start finish straight now. Let's see what her first lap time is. 1:43.1 for Natalie. Chris Generelli with a 1:43.6, so he's 5/10ths off. But again, that's only their first lap in qualifying. Times can come down still, we have seen it. Unless Mum's first lap time in with a 1:44. Kenneth stuck going across the line now. He's just on his first out lap, so this will be his first flying lap now. Oh, taking the old line. Definitely need to get on those brakes there, Ken. Jaroslav Galkov goes into fourth with a 1:40.6 his last lap, but I do believe that was from when he joined into the server because Ken gets it all wrong. Ken puts the hard into the wall. He's going to have to tow that car back to the pits and get that all fixed and come back out for another run. As we look over at Mr. Terry Crouch on his first fast lap in that Sun Energy Mercedes-Benz. He's running a full in-game livery. As we said, he can either run a full in-game livery or full custom livery. Obviously, with only knowing that Terry's going to take part within 30 minutes, there was no way in hell was I able to put up a livery in that short amount of time. I know I'm quite quick at liveries, but not in that amount of time. So Terry's going to be running the Sun Energy car in the first race. I don't know if he's going to make the next race. We never know. Chris Generetti's across the line. And doesn't improve. That lap was a slow lap. That was a 1:44.4 for Terry. Chris and Chris, they're taking a very unique line. I think him and Ken Estep just had contact, and they did. So let's go on to Helicam. We're going to switch over to my race control app, and it did not record the incident, unfortunately, because it was not active. So there was an incident there between those two in qualifying. I'm going to see if I can see it through another system. Just catch the end of it there, unfortunately. As our cameras do their silly bouncy what's trying to register on anything. So those guys are back rolling. So now we've gone back over to live timing. Okay, Sherman is showing us off track as well. He's off in the first part of last part of time runner. Terry Crouch is up in fourth place at the moment with a 1:43.9. Very close to Heiko. He's only 6.5 thousandths of a second behind Mr. Heiko Sherman. And here's Terry Crouch thinking, I'm slow, I'm not going to be fitting into the crowd very well. I believe Terry is going to be, again, as always, just comes out of nowhere and just absolutely dominates. But here, I think Terry's got a fight on his hands. What is very, very good to see. Just scrolling through some of our information bits a minute. I'll be back into the stream myself, just so I can give an eye on everything as well as you guys can. So, Miss Natalie Lee, currently our fastest car on track. Currently 3 tenths down on her best lap. So as you can see, you're braking and then have to re-get on the brakes again through here. But that was a very nice line there from Natalie. So you're taking a lot more curb there than Heiko. So we're looking forward from Mr. Ken Estep again. The only person I haven't seen really out on track, I remember, was Mr. Callum McLeod. He's the only one who's not put a lap time in yet. As you said, nor has Mr. Stephen McAfee. As Callum McLeod is shown now out on the circuit. See where Mr. Stephen McAfee is as well. He's only just up the road, so both of these guys, I believe this is Stephen's first flying lap. So obviously he hasn't got a representative time in just yet. But as I was saying, Mr. Terry Crouch just puts his car into P2 with a 1:43.382. Can he find literally two? If he does 2/10 of a second exactly to the dot faster than his lap time now, he will be on pole. So let's see what Mr. Terry Crouch can do. Saying that, Natalie leads up by 7.5, 8/10 of a second up by Natalie, and she just dirtied her lap. That's why her lap time just went greyed out on our screen. Oh, that's a massive shame for Natalie there. She was up on her lap time massively there. Callum Clow was thinking I have to get out of the way, but then realises he doesn't, and I think he just cut a little bit. Yep. Cutting a little bit too much there of Variante to Alta. As Alesh Mum fires it down the inside. Alesh Mum is in third place. Christian is down in fourth. Heiko's down into fifth. I knew Imola was going to be a very entertaining circuit, but for qualification, it being like this? Wow. So Leshram is on a flying lap now. Natalie Lee, she's gone back into the pit. Terry Crouch, he's come back out. So he's on that lap. Leshram gaining a little bit there, up to 1/10. He's still gaining in time. Right at the moment, if he stays as he is, he will push Terry Crouch down into third place. All he needs is 3/10. 3/10 of a second. Alesh Mum will be in first as we jump over the Christian Rally. I want to keep on to Alesh Mum because that was some amazing driving there from Alesh. Oh, all the time he had up, he's lost it. So Alesh was right up on his lap time to jump it to first place. I knew today was going to be a very, like I said, I knew today was going to be an interesting race, but we are definitely seeing that. So the top 5 are covered by not even 500ths of a second. So the top 5, and if anyone gains half a second, they're going to be in first. Conor Lesh, put that lap time that you were just putting together, get that in. So I had to jump out of the commentary booth just for a second as I come back in. Mr. Heiko Sherman's gone past us now with a 1:42.9. Again, that is still in reach. Natalie Lee just needs to find 2/10 of a second. Chris Generelli, he needs to find 3/10 of a second. That's just over 3/10 for him. Terry Crouch needs to find just over 4/10, and Alesh needs to just find 5/10 of a second. And Alesh will be up into first place as well. As we see, Terry Crouch and Alesh have improved this lap. Where is this lap going to put these guys to? Because this is getting close, and we're near the end of qualifying now. Alesh up into P2 with a 1:43.1. Where has this pace come from, Alesh? There's also a very small Easter egg here, guys, that I want to quickly show you. So I'm going to turn off this autopilot. Just before we end practice, I'm going to jump into the game. We're going to go to free cam view. And we're going to go over and have a look at the crowd here. Just going to make sure we can hop over the track. Now there's a little Easter egg. Oh, I forgot we were under one thing. What to do? Controls. We need to disable camera. There we go. I do apologise for that one. But obviously this is the first event was during COVID. So we'll have a look over at the crowd, and yes, the crowd all have COVID masks on. That's a little Easter egg for this track. Natalie's just flying through. That's her out lap. So we're going to go down into turn 1. I just want to show you a few extra things as we fly over the head with the drone cam. On the inside of Tamburello, just like in real life. Can't remember which side, how far up it is. Yeah, definitely further back than I thought we was. We do have the Senna Memorial here. So yes, that is on the inside of the circuit here at Imola. Looking over, unfortunately, at the wall that took his life, unfortunately. But we'll head back into the cameras now. As we head back over to the guys, I'm going to switch back to this thing so we don't drop any more frames. So Natalie Lee, she's up by 0.4 of a second. That will put her back into first place. Yeah, we're getting flashing warnings, so she's on the fast lap. Half a second up. Christian already, he's not improving this lap. But Natalie, she's up by half a second here. Terry Crouch down to 5th. Let's see if Terry can get another fast lap out before end of qualifying. So that puts Natalie first with a 1:42.6. That's a big gain there. That was a big gain. Terry Crouch needs to find a whole second, nearly enough a whole second now. So the top 6 are still covered by 1 second. Callum McLeod is only 1/10. Actually, sorry. Callum McLeod. Yeah, sorry. Callum McLeod is, who's in 8th, is only just outside of that group of inside of 1 second group. Unfortunately, Ken Estep, he is definitely struggling here today. He's only doing 1:49 at the moment. But this top group, they're on their final runs now. Terry Crouch is down on this time. He needs to gain that time back. He might get around. He's going to get around for 1 more lap. So I do believe anyone who's just crossing the start line now is going to be done. So who's in the pit lane? Mr. Ken Estep is the only one who's in pits. Everyone else is out on track. So we just have Alesh coming across the line now to start a new lap. So Alesh going to be the first one. That's Elite. She's coming into pit lane. She's thinking, I've done it, I can't push no more. I thought she was trying to go out there for just that one last more lap. She might not have the fuel in the car. She's on board Mr. Heiko Sherman. Chris Generelli is going to get one more lap in. So, Heiko down into... Heiko's down on his lap time a lot though. And he's not going to get another lap in. There's only 3 seconds left to go. Qualifying's over. So Heiko is going to be in 3rd place at this moment. Who else is on a lap right now? Callum McLeod, he's on a lap. He's up on his time. Callum goes up into 7th. So we're going to turn our autopilot off just for this. Aleshma is down on his time. Can he gain a little bit more time? Can he push Heiko down into 4th? He needs to find 2 tenths. Can he get it in this last corner alone? No, Aleshma, that is his lap. He goes off circuit. Jaroslav Galkov. He's slowing. Stephen McAfee, he's on a lap. He's up on his time. He goes off, he does his lap. So that brings us literally to the end of qualifying. So Natalie Lee takes pole, Chris Generelli 2nd, Heiko Sherman 3rd, Alesh Mum 4th, Terry Crouch in his first race with us in 5th, Stephen McAfee in 6th, Callum McLeod 7th, Jaroslav Galkov in 8th, and Ken Estep bringing up the rear in 9th. So we're just going to try and find a decent TV camera to sit on the guys with. We're going to flick over to the helicopter cam, as always, for turn. Let's also bring up mandatory pit stops for you guys. Let's bring down into the race gaps. We don't need qualifying times anymore, so we're just waiting for the track to get going. And as you can see, the track temperature now has dropped quite drastically. It's now 18 degrees air temp, 18 degrees track. We have 1 minute system we start going. I'll be back in that 1 minute, so bear with me. And let's get ready to enjoy another 1 hour race here at Imola.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Sorry guys, I am now back, so we are just coming underway. Guys are rolling. You can see the sun is setting now, so the sun is going to be facing directly into the guys' eyes as they come along the start straight. Joa, I have screenshotted it, I even took the lap times down and everything. It's scary. As we are green, we are underway. So just look from Alesh. Heiko's already got past Alesh. It's come down into turn 1. Everyone being a bit careful. Oh, I thought Mr. Callum McLeod then was going to go back into the back of Mr. Terry Crouch. Terry Crouch has got around Alesh. No, Alesh has gone back around the outside. Callum McLeod having a look at Terry here. Callum McLeod causing a collision there.
Oh no!
Callum McLeod. It had to be Callum, didn't it? That's put Terry
Oh
Crouch down
man!
to the back. Let's have a look at that on a replay. It's diving a little bit too much. Let's hope that's not damaged Terry's car too badly. We will have to give a penalty for that one though. That will be... I think that's going to have to be a 5-second penalty there. Lap 1, they could have done a little bit more reasonable on that one. So we're going to jump in straight into the game, guys. As we know, it does make us lag slightly, so I will be as fast as possible. Actually, admin password. I didn't put that in. There we go. So there we go. 5-second penalty has been added to Mr. Callum McLeod's time. I do apologise that it does lag whilst we have to be in there. I am trying to work out on a way that we can fix that issue. So unfortunately on our timing screens, I have spoken to the guys, they cannot get the information of like when we do penalties or when a penalty has been given by the game. That's why we don't see it on the overlay system. So hopefully now with that 5-second penalty, Callum goes, okay, I need to take a little bit more steady going into turn 2.
Yeah.
Right into the second chicane. And not decide to, I'm diving, but then dive unnecessarily a little bit too aggressively. Because that was definitely avoidable contact that happened there. They both will have damage. Unfortunately, Terry might have about 2 to 3 seconds worth of damage there. So yes, Jason. And the person he decides to kill is Mr. Terry Crouch. Of all people.
Yeah, we got Eliza qualifying Terry. We got that man killing people.
Yeah, so we're going to look up to the front. Natalie Lee is taken out the front. Heike Sherman is the fastest person on the circuit. Natalie Lee's first lap time was actually... It hasn't shown up on the best lap time, so I believe her first lap, she was slightly... She dirtied her first lap. So this should give us our first general actual pace of the fastest car on track. So Natalie with 144.28 is showing that she is the fastest on circuit. So the guys in chat are going absolutely bonkers about all this now, saying about Deadman. As per usual. Callum causing, I'm just going to put it in the like lamest terms, causing shit.
Hashtag blame Deadman.
But yeah, this is what we have to deal with racing with Deadman. As Terry Crouch is now looking around the outside of Stephen McAfee here in the Porsche. Can he throw it around the outside? That's a long way to go at Tosa. But that Mercedes does have the pull, unlike the Porsche does, and Terry Crouch does get around Stephen McAfee. So that's Mr. Terry Crouch up into 6th. Stephen McAfee is running wide. Let's put Callum McLeod up through as well. So unfortunately we don't have Mr. Terry Crouch in, obviously, the chat with us today, but he is actually out on circuit for the first time with literally a 30-minute crash course of how to even set the pit stops up, how does even the race works. He's got it set up. He's got one of my basic setups. He also has the information of like how to set the pit stop up. From what I've heard, Terry's actually set up the full pit stop now before he even got into the car to race. He did it all through the pit, so he doesn't have to do anything whilst he is driving. Natalie puts the new fastest lap into the race for 143.1. As you can see, the drivers are going to have to put that sun just glaring into their eyes as they come across the start line. It's not going to get fully dark here today. That sun is going to set nicely during this race. Again, as always, 30-minute mark, well, halfway mark, so I was going to say. Pit window will open, so that'll open at the 35 minutes remaining, and will close at 25 minutes remaining. Callum McLeod goes off! I don't believe there's contact between them, but Callum McLeod is off circuit. I think Callum McLeod may have just spun his car there to not gain any more contact. So we'll have a look back. It says on my warning system, possible contact. So no, dead man put the front end of the car into the wall. Ouch.
Yeah, you just hit that sand trap there. Got loose and
yeah.
out into that inside wall there.
But that car was coming back over at Stephen McCaffrey. Stephen McCaffrey's seen it. He was able to go, know this. I'm pulling to the right hand side. But my warning system didn't say there was potential contact. Although lucky there wasn't, but from how snappy and angled they were together, that could have happened. That's why we look back over at the replay. So Chris Generelli is 0.6 of a second, about 1% behind Natalie Lee. Heiko's 1.5 behind him. Terry Crouch is right behind Jaroslav Galkov here. He is in that McLaren slipstream. It's a bit too far back to make a move into turn 1, into Tamburello. But look at the line that Terry's able to take over from that McLaren though, because of the McLaren being so low. Terry gets right behind him. Is this going to be the dive on the brakes into Villeneuve? No. Jaroslav holds on the inside, just covering it off. Stephen McAfee is now right behind these two as well. We got a great battle going on here in the mid-pack, and as per usual, Alesh Mum is in the middle of nowhere. 2.5 seconds off a third, 7 seconds in front of this pack. And let's do it as normal. I'm going to sit in the middle, out of sight, out of anyone's way. Terry goes a little bit wide, maybe. So you see, Terry Crouch does have a white number box on his car. He's using an in-game livery, not using a custom. As he's able to join us just before. Literally, he signed up with 15 minutes to go before today's race. So it's good to see Terry Crouch. Is he going to make the dive into Tamburello? No, into Ratza. Just stays behind him. Oh, Terry getting very close there. I can't see now why Terry's not going to sit in the slipstream and make this pass down into Tamburello. Oh, as the camera switches over to Natalie Lee, we don't want that. We want to stick with this battle. Oh. Jaroslav Galkov here, just putting the car everywhere he needs to put it, just to slow this traffic up. Stephen McAfee then just made a mistake coming in. As Terry Crouch is up around the outside and has made the pass around the outside into Villeneuve. That is one brave move there, Terry. But Jaroslav is coming around back around the outside again into Tosa. Wow, this is good. This is a race, guys.
Yeah, Gladkov's not done yet.
Look, he is. That Merc though, with its V8 grunt, just yanks up the hill. The torque in it is absolutely amazing. So let's put Terry Crouch back up into 5th place now. As we look for the dash cam of Terry, he's going to like run away, run away, run away. Oh, he goes a little bit too wide there. Let's go watch those track limits here. Track limits here could be the issue for guys getting time penalties. Don't forget, you get 3 warnings for gaining time whilst going off circuit. If you gain a 4th time from off circuit, you will get a drive-through penalty given to you. And that is not controlled by me, that is controlled by the in-game stewards. So that is out of my control to control that. So Natalie Lee, she is now coming across the start line. Chris Generelli, he's in second. Heiko Sherman, he's in third. So these guys are all covered by 2 seconds, as you can see. 1, 2, 3. And just in the background, a further 5 seconds back, is Mr. Aleshmum. Can Terry gain all that time back on Alesh by the time they come to the pit stops? Callum McLeod is in pit lane. Is the damage on the front of his car too much to drive through and has to come in early just to fix his damage? Or is Callum doing a Callum and retiring the car? I wonder. So you see in pit lane. If that car gets fixed, we'll see the front end of that car get changed in a minute. So we'll have a look over the entire lap. Jaroslav Galkov is still behind Terry Crouch. Terry's now 7.5 seconds behind Alesh. Still a big gap. So this will officially put Callum McLeod a lap down. Ken Estep, he's up in 6th. 8th, sorry. This will be good for his points. I think even Mr. Ken Estep here might be able to put a lap onto Callum, as the leaders have now come past him. So that has put Callum a lap down, unfortunately for him. Callum McLeod is on the move. And yes, the car was too undrivable, so he had to come in and fix the car. We don't know. He might have been getting a meatball flag. Actually, no, we do know he didn't get a meatball flag, because otherwise it will come up on our screens that he would have been getting that flag. Just go through some information at my end there, guys, for 1 second, and we'll be back onto the screens in 1 second myself. So, Chris Generelli is falling back from Natalie. Heiko Sherman is still sticking at 1 second behind these two, though. Nice running there, not gone too wide. So did Ken did lap this? No, sorry, Mr. Cloud did get out just in front of. No, yeah, he did get me out in front of Ken. So Ken is the only one who's not got a lap on Mr. McLeod. So you see that sun is wiping across the driver's eye view. Let's go down. Can Terry catch up? He's still at 7.9 seconds behind Alesh. Heiko goes right behind Chris. Chris goes off track. That's all Chris is own doing there. Chris needs to finish ahead of Heiko here to take the lead back in the championship. Because this is, like I said, this championship is going to come down to the wire between these two.
Oh, just one pit stop mess up to.
Oh yeah, or just like we just seen there, the smallest mistake. And also, guys, if you didn't know, or if you look at the official driver entry list for the Spa 24 Hours in real life, Mr. James Baldwin from Yazhi and Veloce Esports, also who drove the world's fastest gamer, who won his seat into the British GT, and drove for Jenson Button Team Rocket in the McLaren, is driving the McLaren in the Spa 24 Hours in real life this year. Jardia has posted up a video about it a couple of minutes ago. Don't go just yet. Go watch it afterwards. But yeah, a professional sim racer is going to be racing in the Spa 24 Hours this year. And congratulations to him. He's one of the best guys in the ACC. He won his seat in the real car through winning the world's fastest gamer. His first race out, it was at Alton Park in the British GT Series a couple of years ago now. And on his first race, won the event. So for him to be doing the Spa 24 Hours this year is absolutely amazing to see. So good luck to him, good luck to his team. Also, I'll be cheering on all the Mercedes teams as always for myself. As you can all turn around and say, bias, bias, bias. I have to be contracted to be them. Callum McLeod is in the pits again. Callum McLeod is crawling along pit lane again. I do not know if he's got more front end damage on that car. Can't see no damage on the rear. That's a big shame for Callum. We're going to look. No. Doesn't have the damage on the front. I think Callum McLeod's bringing it into pit lane to retire. What's a massive shame for him. Because he is 10 minutes early for the mandatory stop. So see Mustafa showing, just looking at the road, you can see Natalie up in the distance now. Can he gain the 4.5 seconds to catch up to Natalie and take the lead? As you see, Mr. Steve McCaffrey and Mr. Jaroslav Galkov get into a bit of a tussle there. So as I said guys, GT America will be coming in about a month's time on ACC. It'll be American time zone. It'll be on Friday nights for you in America. Very early Saturday morning for myself. I might make a couple of events, you may not know which ones I turn up to, but we only are getting 3 brand new tracks from America. Unfortunately, we're not getting the whole season like we wanted, but you will be getting Circuit of the Americas, Watkins Glen, and Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Obviously, the road course version, not the full oval. But those tracks will be coming. Also adding into there is Laguna Seca, what's already in the game for the Intercontinental GT World Challenge Pack. So that will be coming soon. So I will be posting that up on Friday for everyone to sign up to. Also, sign-ups for the GT4 series will be live on the day after this series finishes. What's in just 2 weeks' time now. Next week, no, sorry, 3 weeks' time. We have Nürburgring next week, then we're at Brands Hatch, and then we'll be finishing off at Spa. And the day of Spa, so on the Wednesday after, we will be posting up the GT4 series. We'll be starting in September. So you've got quite a bit of time before that goes live. Callum McLeod did come back out of the trips and then just towed back to the pit again. I don't know what's up with Callum McLeod. Hopefully he just stays in. If Josh can jump over into the game chat and say to Callum to stick in on the circuit even if he retires the car. That way he will gain points, otherwise the points do get... That's a DNF, it doesn't count them. Josh, you there? I'll jump over. Give me 1 second, guys. Mr. McLeod, if you're retiring, stay on circuit, you'll gain points that way. If you jump out, it'll DNF you, and you won't gain points. So I just jumped into the in-game chat with them, the chat box for them, just to let them know. So this is the main battle on circuit at the moment. Chris Generelli is 1.5 behind Heiko, but these two are in half of a second of each other, so we're going to stick with this. Terry Crouch is slowly catching the Lesh Mum. Stephen McCaffrey right behind him here. And when I mean right behind, I mean he is right behind Jaroslav. Is Stephen McCaffrey going to make the dive into Ravazza? No. Decides to stay behind. Looks like he's going to try to get him through the straight. It's a little bit far back though in Ravazza. I would have wanted to go for the dive there just to try to do that. Unfortunately, Callum did not stay in the game. He has retired the car fully. That means he would not be getting points, unfortunately, for doing that. That's not down to me, that's down to how the system works for the points. I could manually add the points in for it, or give him 2 points. I do not know why he's constantly wanting to go onto that dash onto the inside. Stephen McCaffrey, does he get the pass now? Yes, he does. Stephen McCaffrey finally gets past Jaroslav Galkov. That has been a battle for absolutely ages now, but look how much these two have been battling. These two are now 15 seconds behind Callum McLeod. Sorry, Mr. Terry Crouch. From these two battling that hard, Mr. Terry Crouch is able to pull a 15.5 second gap to him. Terry Crouch is now within 2.9 seconds of Alesh Mum. Chris Generelli is still right behind Heiko though, at 8 tenths, as we see Jaroslav Galkov go off. Saying that, that is smaller than 8 tenths of a second between these two here now. Natalie Lee, she's gained her lap time away from these guys. Is she going to be able to do? Chris Generelli now comes in with the new fastest lap for 1:42.780. Also guys in the chat, I've been looking at our analytics and more than half of you are not subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel, it does help us grow, especially myself, because obviously this is my channel mainly. I renamed it all for the Simpit stuff, because all our GT stuff that's going to be on ACC will be streamed by me onto this channel. If we do any multi-class events, and we do any big endurance events, I'll make sure it's all streamed on here, as well as if we're doing a big massive event, maybe even be streamed on the official Simpit channel. So please, if you're watching, please subscribe. It would be amazing if you do. Also, don't be shy in the comments afterwards and raising that. Obviously, I know you're greatly interacting in the in-game the live chat, but also a nice little comment after would be great. We appreciate it as well. As Stephen McCaffrey's got passed by Jaroslav Galkov and is falling back. These two will not stop battling for this entire race, I think. So Alesh Mum's fastest lap was on 1:43.3. Terry Crouch at 1:42.9. Terry Crouch is now 2 seconds behind Alesh Mum. Can Terry Crouch take fourth place away from Alesh? This is absolutely amazing to see, because everyone's like, normally Terry Crouch, that's it, he just wins and runs away from everything. It's good to see him, only with a basic bit of information, literally sitting mid-pack here and not being at the front. Obviously, could be a lot different without the contact between him and Mr. Callum McLeod. So when Callum came in for that early pit stop, his penalty would have been taken in that time as well, as we are 5 seconds, I've just gone 5 seconds now away from the pit window opening. Track temp has dropped, it's now 17 air, 17 track. Pit window is now live. I am going to work on a little bit more information for you guys that will show. I'm going to bring up the original pit window lap time. So I just need to hop into the game one quickly, second. As you see there on the top of the screen now, you can see that Pit window is open. Unfortunately, this information on the side, what tells you what camera set we're using, does not go away. That's our only problem about using the broadcast screen. So we can use the official broadcast. This will bring up the bar behind Chris Generelli's name, driver's names here. This is why I don't like using them. This is why I would use a full blank HUD, and I prefer just to sit here and give you guys all the information you need. So, who's going to make the dive into the pits early? The BMWs, from what I was looking at earlier, especially on this pace, they might be not able to fully do, unless Rum is in the pits first, unless Rum is in the pits, they might not be able to do a full race on one tank of fuel. They might need to add fuel in the pit stop. From what I was looking at earlier, from lap times, they may need to save like 2% of fuel. Jaroslav Galkov comes into the pits. He's down into the pit lane and down into the correct speed. So I will have to keep an eye on the guys, because obviously if they get a penalty, I have to get in there and clear it for them, because we only have 3 laps of when the penalty is activated to serve it, otherwise they get disqualified. Especially when it's already a stop-go 30 for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, that 30 can bite you in the bumper.
Oh yes, and that's why we always, if we know there's a penalty due for speeding in the pit lane, we will automatically reduce it from that stop-go 30 just to a drive-through penalty. It is one of the things that we have put into the league. Unfortunately, guys, the guys who are going to be competing in GT America, there's going to be no live stewarding. So that in-game will only be doing the stewarding for that event. Leshmum is get going. Just shows yellow, don't know why, but he has cleared his pit stop. Jaroslav Galkov has come up his pit stop. As Canastep is in the pits. So you see, Jaroslav Galkov has already been lapped. That's how quick this circuit is. Been doing 142s, 143s around here on such a small circuit, and a pit stop being 30 seconds stood still, and then the time on pit road could be literally the gap between this here. So it nearly puts you on about half a lap down from where you would normally be. So Chris Generelli still pushing up onto Heiko. I will switch over and have a quick look at in-game, see if there's any penalties. No, the two who are in the pits have done the pit stop, good. So I'm trying to get that done as quick as possible for you guys so we can reduce as much lag. Cristiano already does have the run here coming up into around to Alta. Decide to stick back. Sticking back then, look at the run that Heiko's got out of there though. Canestep, he's out of pit lane. So Terry Crouch is 9.4 seconds behind Chris Generelli and still slowly reeling them in. Because he's not fighting, that last lap he was 2 seconds faster than Heiko Schumann and Chris Generelli. As Terry Crouch is now into pit lane for his first ever stop with us. So we hear his car plodding along. Stephen McCaffrey, he's staying out. Halfway through the pit window, we've got another 5 minutes yet before the pit window does close. I believe, yes, Terry Crouch has been in the pits. Terry has a drive-through as well. Just noticed that come up on my screen, so we'll have a look at what it could possibly be. No. That's why Terry Crouch came into the pit lane. It wasn't to serve his pit stop. It's because Mr. Terry Crouch had a drive-through penalty for track limits. So unless Mum here has got a giffy here. Heiko there a little bit fast, maybe on pit lane. It's because there was contact between these two. Naughty, naughty boys. Contact coming into pit lane. These two just don't want to give anyone a little bit of space. As you can see there, Christian already holding the starter. He's not in his box properly. Engine didn't shut off. Looks like he's all good now. So Terry Crouch is now in pits again. So that's not going to push Terry Crouch. I'm just looking at his last stop time. He was in the pits lane for 40 seconds. So there's a minute and 10 seconds on pit road here. If you can get your pit stop to be 100% spot on. So Terry Crouch is going to have to find 40 seconds here in total. This could put Terry down into 7th place. So Natalie Lee comes in. Made her pit stop nice and clean this time. Unlike when, unfortunately, her incident at Zandvoort. Heiko Schirmer's got his headlights on and he's behind Mr. Ken Estep. So Lestrom is back on into 4th. Stephen McAfee's seat has jumped. So there's jump. So flashes headlights here to say, pass the car, let me through. So Terry Crouch has unfortunately dropped down from 4th to 7th. We are going to have one more switch back in. Just all these, when Natalie Lee and Terry Crouch has exit pit lane. This will give us the information of if they have both sped. Terry Crouch's pit stop now is valid, so that drive-through he got is a massive, massive loss for Mr. Terry Crouch. Can you believe that, Josh? Terry Crouch got a drive-through. For too many off tracks. Natalie is still in the pits. She's on the move, she's out, so Natalie Lee gained a massive, it looks like a massive jump. The time is quickly coming down. I'm going to have a look into the side. And everyone cleared their pit stop and everyone did not speed on pit lane. So that's nice to see. Everyone's pit stops were correct. It's unfortunate for Mr. Crouch, who's unfortunately backed. He's retired the car, it looks like, as well. For Mr. Crouch. He would have been in 7th. So that's promoted Ken Estep up into 7th. So Ken's getting a nice fist for the points for him for this race. So unfortunately, yes, only 7 drivers remaining in the race. Everyone has fixed up. Wow, there he goes. Terry's just jumped in the chat. Didn't know track limits would be 4. Yeah, you get 3 warnings, and then on the 4th one you get the drive through. That's massive. I'm trying to get through to him and stuff like that. Didn't know how the penalty system worked. That's okay, Terry. Like I said, first ever race on ACC, perfectly fine. I'm not pleased with the game after one try though. Oh, Terry, you're doing great though. The pit stuff and all the other stuff around it, F that. Yeah, it takes time to get used to it all, Terry. It really does. But the battle you had with, like, obviously you see it still now, Stephen McAfee and Jaroslav Galkov was absolutely amazing. Stephen makes a big mistake there, has a big slide. But the battle between you three was great, and the gap you had on, you pulled a 15-second gap on these two was amazing to see as well. But yeah, for your first race, Terry, no lie, you did absolutely great. And I do apologise for Dead Man being a dead man and deciding to give you a little punt in the rear at the very start. That's why he got a 5-second time penalty issued by me. Well, I need to have a look further back at some more reviews and have a look over the incidents. That there might be a championship point deduction as well for Mr. McLeod. But as he has unfortunately fully retired the car, he's not actually going to be scoring points for today's race, so might not be needed to pull that point on him. But we are now 23 minutes remaining. Pit window is now closed. Everyone has taken a pit stop. I'm going to bring down the mandatory data now, as we know everyone has taken a stop. We're going to keep the gaps up there though. But Terry, again, for your first race, with very, very short knowledge of how the sim works and stuff like that, and not knowing the penalty system, you did absolutely amazing, my friend. Absolutely amazing. Like I said, we'll go over in more detail about everything, like track limits, like lifting off and things like that, instead of like, because you can lift off and not still cut slightly, get a no time gain warning. It's only when you gain time is when it gives you that penalty mark of you get 3 warnings, and then the 4th warning, that's it, you're done. So I think with a little bit more of our one-to-one coaching that we're going to be doing, Terry, I think you're definitely going to be in the contention, mate. A pretty good ACC guy. So it looks like our camera system is scrolling through everyone now. We're looking at over to Alesh Mum. Again, Alesh Mum being in the middle of nowhere. But that's what Alesh likes to do, just sit in the middle of nowhere. Plod around. I think Alesh is actually the only one with their full headlights on. So not just using their main headlights, they're using their endurance lights, hence why the big fog lights are on down at the bottom bumper. About 20 minutes to go. Natalie Lee with a 12-second lead over Mr. Heiko Schumann, who has a nearly 4-second lead over Chris Genuelli, who's in 3rd. Unless from as you can see, 14.5 seconds back from Chris. Jaroslav Galkov and Stephen McAfee, who are still battling hard together, are 18 and 19 seconds behind Alesh Mum. Unfortunately, we're not getting a time for Mr. Ken Estep due to the amount of difference that is between the two. As you can see, yes, these two will actually be coming up to lap Mr. Ken Estep. That's why there's not a gap time shown, because he's only just in front of them, so that's nearly a whole 1 minute lap. 1 minute 40 seconds in front from these guys. Looks like Stephen McAfee just doesn't get the turn in on the corners, but just is able to get the power on the outside of the corner. That's actually Chris Generelli has his full lights on as well. No rain light needed today, guys. Nice and dry. Nice, but it's a nice cold track out there. Just trying to find somewhere to go there. We didn't know where to go. So that's unfortunately now Ken a full lap down from the entire grid now. Deadman said, fuck pit stops. The good bit about the GT America races, because they're only going to be a 45-minute race or an hour-long race, there is going to be no pit stops. That's one thing in the GT World Challenge America, there will be no pit stops. So that will be pretty much up, get going, and you're racing. So there's going to be no strategy involved in that one for pits. No mandatory pit stops, no mandatory tyre changes, no nothing. Refueling is allowed, but it's not mandatory. So I was just going to double checking over that. So the only things that are going to be disabled are no stability control, what you shouldn't be running anyway, disable the auto steering, disable the auto line, and disable auto gears. Auto pit limit is allowed, auto clutch is allowed, auto engine starts allowed, auto wiper blades and auto lights are allowed. It's the same rules as in what we run in this league. The only difference being, as I have said, is that there is no pit stop needed. As you see, it is getting a little bit darker out there though. It's still not full dark. It won't get to that stage, but the weather is definitely starting to get, the light has started to drop now quite heavily. As these two are still these two have been battling since the lap 1. So Jaroslav Galkov going wide. You see the Porsche's a little bit more stable going through that chicane over the McLaren. Cameron's there, decided to have a little hissy fit. The Porsche, see, its top line speed is where it struggles. And McLaren's top line speed is one of the fastest. But because the corners here at Imola is where the Porsche can claw it all back. This is where the balance of performance car comes in. The Steve McAfee takes a little bit too. Oh, Terry got a drive through track limits, Mr. Deadman. And then the lap afterwards he came in for his mandatory stop. What was valid? And I think unfortunately because of just how much time he had lost, it annoyed him, and also didn't know the system very well and that. So there's all stuff that can be learned from. That's the main thing. All stuff that can be taken in and acknowledged and go, okay, this happened, I can now adjust for next time. So Mr. McAfee, see, he's right there again. Every corner he's been able to catch from Mr. Jaroslav Galkov here, but every time they get onto the straight, Jaroslav's able to pull away. Right, can he stick in the slipstream this time? Can he get past Jaroslav into turn 1? Jaroslav is saying no, pulls him massively out there. Time to get him out of the toe. Very aggressively out. Oh, Steve McAfee goes deep and goes into the gravel. That's going to put him out of the chase now. So look over to Canesta. Unfortunately, Ken down into 7th, but 7th, he's going to be gaining quite a lot of points here for Ken. As we looked over to him on his fastest lap, a 148.007, so that's his best of the race. So that's good to see. But Miss Natalie Lee, absolutely dominant here. 13 seconds in front of Heiko, who's got a 7-second lead over Chris Generelli. As we said, a less rump in the middle of nowhere, as normal, 16 seconds back. And then the big gap to Jaroslav Galkov of 19 seconds. So within the last 13 minutes, unless someone has a major issue, I think we are, and also how behaved Jaroslav Galkov and Steve McAfee be. I think this is going to be our finishing position for today. Let's hope it's not commentator's curse going on there. We never know, it could be, but we will keep an eye on the events and proceedings. So also guys who are going to take part in the GT American events, liveries are completely free. There is no ruling on liveries, so you can have a full in-game custom livery, you can have a custom livery with like your own design like the guys here do, or you can run an in-game livery. There is no restrictions at all. The only restriction there is that you have to sign up on Sim Racing GP, who is one of the, obviously the event provider for today. And it is for all of our ACC leagues, our Assetto Corsa league stuff that we can do, events in there. Also on Race Room and Automobilista 2 are all done on the service provided to us by Sim Racing GP. Most of the guys' setups today are by Coach Dave Academy. If they're not by Coach Dave Academy, then they are running pretty much an in-game aggressive setup or custom setup that they have set up themselves. Obviously, we couldn't do this race without Assetto Corsa Competizione, the sim we are racing on. So that is provided, and also the main two biggest sponsors of the channel for the Simpit themselves are Rick Rotech and RSeat. They are official sponsors, those two, of the Simpit. So thank you to them to doing all the help they do for our community. So as we're looking at just under 12 minutes remaining. I do believe this is how our race is going to finish, unfortunately. Nice, quiet, but I say that, and look at Mr. Stephen McAfee and Mr. Jaroslav Galkov. They're back within 2 seconds of each other here. Stephen McAfee, even after that mistake, has caught straight back up to Jaroslav. These two don't want to stop racing. We might as well make the server be alive for another 3 hours and just let them race. On board from Stephen McAfee's car. So Chris Generelli with a new fastest lap of a 1:42.992. He is still gaining time. There's only like a 10th or so faster than the other two, so not really much to gain from that. A 10th or 2 is not going to work within a 10-minute race. Well, 10 minutes left of the race when you're 6.5 seconds down from the guy in front of me, and then another 14.5 seconds to our race leader, who we're on board with now, Miss Natalie Lee, as they come down into Tamburello for the 28th time of asking. Oh, just a little bit wide there, just touched the gravel. And also, going back to the pit stuff, Terry, yes, it would be great if someone who is just coming in as a spotter can do your pit stop for you, but unfortunately they can't. It's one of the things with ACC. It was never built to do online driver swaps. It was never a main core thing for them. So all of that has been done afterwards. So That's why it's not very well incorporated, but it's something they are looking on working for the next version of the game that's coming out. Looking at the next AC. Yes, AC. So the AC2 will be coming out in roughly 2024. So keep an eye out on that in the future. So we're on board there with the absolutely screaming loud McLaren. Steve McAfee's are still just slipping little bits by little bits from that McLaren, just because of how fast the Porsche is through the curves. That straight, Jaroslav Galkov is pulling away slightly each time. Just like everything that Stephen gains in the corners, Jaroslav's able to go, no, that's okay, you do it in the corners, I'm going to get you put it away back out on the straights. So it's keeping these two so evenly balanced here. And this is what I said about the balance of performance between the cars. These two cars, if they're left completely raw, you never know, the McLaren can absolutely just walk away from the Porsche. But due to adding weight into the cars, restrictors and so on and so forth, has made these two cars, as you can see, literally near enough dead even around this circuit. McLaren, yes, it's got a bit of a top end speed gain, but it's not as good as in the corners. Porsche, really, really good in the corners, not such good on its top end. So, 7.5 minutes remaining. Again, this is the only battle on track. Big gaps now between pretty much everyone bar this battle. Chris Generelli and Heiko are the only really other close cars to here, because Natalie's got a 15-second gap now to Heiko Sherman. Chris is only 6.4 back from Heiko, but Alesh Roman is 20 seconds away from Chris. Jaroslav Galkov, who we're looking at now, he's 21 seconds behind Alesh. Like I said, Mr. Jaroslav Galkov is under pressure here. But Stephen McAfee is half a second behind, as you can see on your screens. That Porsche is not left that McLaren's back bumper alone this race. It's swapped back and forth now and then. Well, that Porsche has been pretty much in the back of this McLaren the entirety of this race. And unfortunately, as we know, Mr. Kenneth is a lap down from the entire pack, but still motoring around. He's not giving up. He is still going to bring that Ferrari home. Chris Generelli is shown as a yellow flag. Chris Generelli's gone off track. So he made a massive mistake there in Tamburello. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yes, I was correct the first time. Tamburello. Do apologise. But now he's made it pretty much an even gap across the field of 15 to 15, 20 seconds or so. See, we're just getting a little bit more top end speed, just pulling away from that Porsche. As soon as we're coming down into braking and into the corners, that's it, Porsche's back in there. Let's go have a look at my race control up, see what it has logged. Showing Mr. Color Cloud disconnected on my screen. Just scrolling through my race control apps, just having a look. So it does not show on either one when Terry Crouch got his drive-through, so there's no way of me knowing that he had one, so I could have never ever cleared it if it even made itself viable for me to do so. But you are looking at the only battle on the circuit. So we're coming down now into the last 5 minutes of today's race. Don't forget, next week we are at the Nürburgring. Weather there does look okay. Looks like it's going to be another evening, maybe even into pushing into the night. I'll actually bring that up and double check what the event scheduling is at the moment. Don't forget, the event times are all scheduled to change. And yes, it will be a nighttime race at the Nürburgring. That's the thing, these guys always do have a little bit of fun and play. Look at the snobs. But for Terry Crouch's first event, not too bad. I've got no issues with Terry for that. Did absolutely everything he could do. So there we go, there's the swap for Jaroslav Galkov and Stephen McAfee. I said it was going to happen whilst we were looking away. Just had a gut feeling of that. Excuse me. But like I said, the McLaren, its top speed is faster than the Porsche, and he's right behind that Porsche. Can Jaroslav Galkov make that McLaren pull around us? Ooh, that was very close between those two there. See, Jaroslav Galkov back around Stephen McAfee just on the start straight. But Stephen gets him on the corners, so Stephen's got to get an earlier overtake done. So Jaroslav is making sure he sits on the inside. There we go, that's the dive, that's the dive! Contact! Of both have spun. So, we will give him... Okay, he did give the place back. Made sure he didn't gain any time from it as well. He's actually dropped himself a bit further back there. Shouldn't have been any contact, but I can see why. They're racing so hard now for like a whole hour here. Chris, there you go. Stephen McAfee's gone off wide again there, so... I think they have cooked their tyres just a little bit. Natalie Lee is now on... I do believe final lap. Maybe next lap's actually going to be their final lap. She's halfway through the circuit right now. Unless Mum just comes across the start line into the Tamburello chicane. So we've just got to keep an eye on, see where the leaders are as they're coming up towards the end now. And I do believe, yes, this will be final lap as Natalie Lee comes down into Ravazza 1 and 2 for the final time. I do believe, I don't believe she's going to get to the start line within 20 seconds. So I'm going to turn our autopilot system off. We're going to stick on board with Natalie. She might get there, she might ease off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, she's going for another lap. If she slowed down just enough, we're going to save another lap for everyone. But everyone's going to have to do another lap now. Natalie had a 14-second lead. She can easily just lifted and coasted and just saved doing another lap around the circuit. But that another lap could give McAfee that chance to get back to behind Jaroslav Galkov. That's Kenneth, that is yellow flagged on circuit. Just as he was getting out of the way of Mr. Heiko Sherman, so that's okay. Just wanted to make sure nothing happened there, if we can. So he comes around Paratella for the final time now. Led from start to finish. So congratulations for her. Got a little bit wide there. That's the scary thing, is if you've got 3 warnings and you're on the final lap and you go off circuit, you're like, oh my god, I need to pretty much stop the car. Just so you don't get another penalty, because getting a penalty on the very final lap is absolutely deadly for you. So Mr. McAfee is within 1 second of Jaroslav Garkov. It has to be a last lap ditch effort for them. So that means he comes out now from Ravatsa 2 for the final time, onto the start straight. We thought the last lap was going to be the last one. She crossed the line with 3 seconds to go. But she now has taken the win here at Imola. So congratulations to Natalie for first place. We're going to have to switch over to Heiko, as he's going to cross the line to come home in second place. Going to keep the lead away from Chris Generelli here. As you can see, Mr. Kenneth just up in front of us. Ken's going to come home in 7th place. Stephen McAfee and Jaroslav Galkov on the other hand. So we're going to watch those top 3 finish. We're going to switch back over to this battle. So this is the battle. This is the final lap of the race. These two have been battling hard. They've had contact. Both of them spin. McAfee let Galkov back pass through. So no time gain there. This is going to have to be a last corner dive here. It has to be a dive. Bit of locking now on the front left, but that's it. As we know, that Porsche just does not have the top line speed, so Jaroslav Galkov is going to come home in 5th. Unless one has finished in P4, P5 and 6, nose to tail. And that's today's event over, guys. Well done to everyone who has taken part. As you can see, Terry Crouch did validate his pit stop. So did Callum McLeod. I've got penalties there on the screen. I can't see what they are right now. But congratulations to everyone who finished today's race. Absolutely amazing between everyone who was taking part. But for 2 people, unfortunately, who did not finish today, big shame for them. Obviously, Terry Crouch, his very first ever online race, especially with ACC, with us especially. Didn't know the rules set, everything like that properly. Didn't know the pit stops. Didn't even know how to do anything. Literally 15 minutes before the race, pretty much. I had to give a very quick crash course for him to be able to join today. I do apologise for my puppies there. So I do apologise for them. But again, guys, next week we will be at Nürburgring for our final full nighttime race. So Nürburgring will be our full nighttime race. Then we'll be back over to Brands Hatch for the second to last race. You want to have a look at the lap 1 incident. I don't know if I'll be able to bring it up through here. Give me 1 second and I'll be able to do it. I just have to come out of the game. Actually, no, let's have a look directly through the replay. So we'll bring back up the broadcast screen. As you can see, the overlays are here. I'm going to turn. Let's go to my live screen a minute. So I've turned off. I just need to turn off one of the other images. So as you can see, we are looking at this is my normal race screen that I show you guys. That's that one. That's so we need just one more click. There we go. Oh, as the race restarts. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to put you back onto the track intro screen as I back out of the game, and we'll look at the replay quickly just to see what Callum McLeod did. is the most tiniest punt, but nonetheless a punt to Terry Crouch it was. Definitely not an intentional one. Just coming through the Villeneuve chicane, had a little bit of contact. So we will focus our car onto Callum McLeod for this. We'll find the TV third person camera. So this is the view from Callum McLeod's car. We're on half speed currently at the moment. So you can see Mr. Terry Crouch is on the inside here. Jaroslav Galkov coming up the inside as well. So I think Callum McLeod tried to stay here. Just a bit too much throttle there. Just hit Terry Crouch in the rear quarter. And then there was a bit further contact between Jaroslav Galkov and Terry Crouch. So that would have helped both those cars there. I gave him a penalty just because I'm a Terry Crouch lover. Definitely not dead, man. It's definitely because you decided to go Puntaroonie. So let's have a look from up here. Let's have a look from. Well, actually, on the TV camera's actual locations. See, just coming across the curb, just with that little bit too much throttle before it, and that's what caused the incident. So that was pretty much the only one big incident. Obviously, there was a little bit at the end between Jaroslav Galkov and Mr. Stephen McAfee up here at Tosa. So we'll switch over to them quickly, just as we have a look. Oh, go through the map, that's what it does. So making sure the controls are not following the car. Have a nice aerial view from this one. Click here. So there's a Leishman coming through. No, sorry, there's a Leishman coming through. So this is the second to last lap incident, basically. Avoidable contact there. Mr. McAfee did do the polite thing though. He did completely wait. I was going to jump into that just to put a warning, but they did. He completely backed out of it, didn't gain position, just left it as it was. Got back behind, and again, right at the end, they were neck and neck the entire race. So congratulations to those two for an amazing fight. But again, guys, we are going to go over to. We'll have a look here. So this is the for Roberto Nazaro. The salute for Joe Villeneuve. And we keep going down the pathway. Back down towards Tamburello. And we'll end our stream here. Just trying to find where we went past it, unfortunately. There we go, guys. The Ayrton Senna Memorial. So that's today, guys, where we are going to end today's stream. Again, congratulations to Natalie Lee for the win. Heiko Sherman on second. Chris Generelli in third place. Aleshman fourth. Jaroslav Galkov fifth. Stephen McAfee in sixth. And Ken Estep in seventh. And our two retirees, Mr. Terry Crouch and PS4 Deadman, aka Callum McLeod. Again, guys, we'll see you next week for the Nürburgring. It's the last night race of the season. So, be there for that one. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the track.